Hi everyone, it's Miss Hartill again. Today's lesson, we're going to be talking about how to solve problems. Every day, adults and children, we all face problems, and it's really important that we know how to size our problem. If it's a small problem, a medium problem, or an emergency, a big problem, so that we know how to react, because we always want our reactions to match our problems. So in the first part of this lesson, I'm going to be going over what you see right here on the screen, this traffic light. It's called the traffic light system. So we're going to use this to go over small, medium, and large problems and the reactions that might match this traffic light. You're then going to hear a story, and then there's going to be different questions. If you've been in my groups or you've been in my office when we've gone over problem solving, chances are you saw this video already. So it's a great review. But once you get to the part after the little story, it's going to ask you questions. I want you to be really patient and listen to the questions, shout your answers, and then wait until the answer pops up. I'm going to make sure that I read really slow through those questions so that you know what it's asking you so you can give the best answer possible. So let's get ready to be problem solvers together. So we're going to start off talking about the green light. The one on the very bottom, it's called the small problem. This is, I can solve this on my own, I don't need help from an adult, and I might even be able to ignore it. Next is the yellow light, the medium problem. I can probably solve this on my own, but might ask for an adult help after I've tried. Feelings might be hurt in medium problems. These problems we usually see with friends. Red light problems. This one's on the top. It's big problems. I need help from an adult to solve this problem. Someone may be injured. This might be an emergency. How can I respond to these different sized problems? Well, let's start with the green light. I can ignore it. I can move somewhere else away from the person. I can do a different activity. I can say, can you please stop? I can use my I statement and say, I'm feeling upset. That bothers me. Please stop. How can I respond to yellow light medium problems? Well, I can tell someone how I feel. Again, using our I statement is really helpful. I can ask for what I need. That's for friends or adults. I can ask for help from a peer or teacher. Red light problems. These are the big problems. I can say help. I could say, Miss Smith, I need you. Or I can say, Miss Jones, Mikey's hurt. Again, these are emergencies. Sometimes I have to be loud and interrupt if two adults are talking if one of my friends is hurt. So now we're going to read a story called Jaden's Morning. It's a story about a problem-filled day. Jaden was walking along the sidewalk when suddenly he saw a bug. This is the worst day of my life. I can't believe I'm seeing a bug right now. Jaden ran all the way to school. When he arrived, he was 3 minutes late. He walked to his class and saw that his group was already working on their project. Why didn't you wait for me? I'm not even that late. I can't believe you started without me. Jaden sat down to get to work, but there was a problem. He realized he didn't have his favorite red pencil. Who took my pencil? It was here yesterday and now it's gone. Why are you guys always so mean to me? He yelled at his classmates. Jaden stormed over to his backpack to find a pencil. But there was another problem. He realized he didn't have his water bottle. Jaden kicked his backpack and ran out of the classroom. So let's chat. Let's figure out what went wrong. This is the part where you're going to have to answer some questions. So let's talk about problem one, the bug. When Jaden was walking along the sidewalk and he suddenly saw a bug. How big do you think this problem is? Jaden seeing a bug. This is probably a green light, depending on what kind of bug it is, and Jaden's fear of bugs, or maybe even allergies. It's a small bug that probably won't hurt him though. So how big was his reaction? Was it the same size as the problem? Remember, he said, "This is the worst day of my life. I can't believe I'm seeing a bug right now." Jaden's reaction more closely matches a red light problem. He says, "This is the worst day of my life," which isn't really accurate for a green light problem. What would you do if you saw a bug? So let's go to problem number 2. He's late. Remember, he only got to school 3 minutes late. How big do you think this problem is? This is probably a yellow light problem, since he will probably need to get a little bit of help to get started on his morning work. Remember, yellow light problems is when we might need an adult's help. And how big do you think Jaden's reaction was? Is it the same size as the problem? Jaden's reaction more closely matches a red light problem. It seems like he's yelling and probably disturbing a lot of people, which isn't necessary for a yellow light problem. What would you do? Problem 3. Missing his pencil. How big of a problem do you think this is? This is probably a green light problem, since he can solve this on his own. He has a green pencil in his hand that he can use anyway. How big is this reaction? Is it the same size as the problem? Jaden's reaction more closely matches a red light problem. He's yelling and probably disturbing a lot of people again, which isn't necessary for a small problem. What would you do if you were missing a pencil? Problem 4. This is where Jaden went to get his pencil from his backpack and realized he actually had no water. He had lost his water bottle along the way. How big is this problem? This might be a tricky one. So this could be a yellow or red light problem. Not having water can feel scary to someone. He will need help from an adult to solve it, but it's not an emergency. How big is his reaction? Is it the same size as the problem? Jaden's reaction is really big. He's using violence though, which definitely is not necessary or allowed in school. What would you do? So let's do a redo. Let's see Jaden's morning again. And it's now a story about a problem-filled day and reactions that match the problem. Jaden was walking along the sidewalk when suddenly he saw a bug. Yikes! That's a pretty creepy bug. I'll walk around it. Jaden ran all the way to school. When he arrived, he was 3 minutes late. He walked to his class and saw that his group was already working on their project. Uh-oh, I'm a little behind. Hey, can you fill me in on what you're working on so I can catch up? He asked his neighbor. Jaden sat down to get to work, but there was a problem. He realized he didn't have his favorite red pencil. Oops, my favorite pencil is missing. I'll check my backpack, he thought. Jaden went over to his backpack to find the pencil, but there was another problem. He realized he didn't have his water bottle. He walked over to his teacher and said, "Mr. Jarrett, I just realized that I don't have my water. Would it be okay if I borrowed a cup to use today?" So now let's chat. We heard 2 different stories today. In the first story, Did Jaden's actions and reactions match the size of his problem? No, they didn't. When he saw a bug, he said, "This is the worst day of my life." But in the second story, Jaden simply walked around the bug, and his reaction definitely matched the size of the problem. And it takes a lot of practice. Like I said in the beginning of my video, every day we're going to face different problems. And it's important that we stop, think about our traffic light, and choose what size problem this is so you can react the most appropriate way. For anyone who's my student, you can go to the Parkview or Fort Salongo website that I have. And on there, if you go to my at-home practice link, you can scroll all the way to the bottom. And there's actually little scenarios on there that you can read under problem-solving scenarios that you can read with your siblings or cousins or your parents. And it's all different problems that you might face in school or at home. And this will be great practice where you'll get to use my traffic light system and pick what size the problem is that you're reading, and then pick what kind of reaction you're going to have. Again, you want to practice this so when the problems happen, you know how to react. Have a fun time practicing.